worked. Okay. So another traffic video. I mean, I didn't have to touch it. It just like gave me a little countdown, and it just started. So that's something I did not know about my own phone. So yeah, I don't even know where to start. I'm just having it on because I'm in traffic, and my mind was idle, and I just it wasn't the devil's playground. So here I am, and that's I guess that's where I'll run off from. Idle mind, it can be the devil's playground if you are in karmic energy and a lower vibration of frequency. That's why people are so easily distracted and manipulated by gossip, rumors, bad intentions, things of that nature, things that do not serve your greatest and highest good. They are, people just get easily distracted by nonsense, things that are not of the Most High, but things that are what's the word I'm looking for? Of the earth, not earthly thing. I think I have to backtrack on that. It was something I used to say, but I stopped saying it for some reason. I think it was more from interacting with karmic energies, wanting me to forget who I am. Things of the earth, instead of earthly things, is what I was going for. Show people your true colors off the bat, just so they won't be confused about who you are. So then you'll know they're, when they try to cross your boundaries, make sure they know your boundaries. Make sure you set them and make them strong boundaries, and make sure you stand on those. Because once, some people, once you let them slide, they start thinking they can ice skate, and and some people you just have to flat out just gray rock them, ignore them, or try and return. And sometimes you got to go into the realm of returning the same energy, and some of us do. I will return that flying monkey type of energy that's been, like, I had an experience with it today. It's just like, it was sad to see, because it's one of my own, after a week around being around my own pigment, basically. So she wasn't one of mine. She was the same skin color, and from the mother country, which was extremely embarrassing that she came in and did what she did, which was converse. Like I said, this wild situation that's going on around me, the in the world but not of the world situation that I'm really not in. It's just more energies around me trying to drag me back into that trash cycle without having all the information on top of it. It's just like, it's like really sad that people are still have fallen for this. And it's just like, it's better really to keep your mouth shut on somebody else's situation, because that's how the situation just gets out of control. And really, if somebody did get killed or murdered, in the situation, it really just makes them an accomplice to murder, because it's like antagonist, what do you call it, like antagonistic and instigation, basically, to escalate the situation. And that's how they got so much energy on it, because just like people are so entertained by dumb shit. I'm like, instead of building themselves and taking accountability for where they went wrong, they double down on being part of the fuck up in the situation. And I'll keep that same energy. I take accountability, and I apologize for my part in it too. And I apologize for, I should have just did a separate accountability and apology video, but I do apologize sincerely for any aggression, like any really not intersection of my trailer where I had it parked, and I was sleeping. Stupid bitch came by at 12 something at night and blasted his music in my direction. And just to show you, like, show the level of desperation these karmics are on. They're really on demon time and really just getting desperate and frantic, and it's really sad to see someone's or experience someone else's mental health go out that sad. It's just like, yeah, you really need help. You really do. You need to, like, seriously seek help. See a therapist or something, because you are off your rocker. And, you know, just like, I spend my days really out and about. I don't really want to buy a home. Like, it's not of interest. Like, I wouldn't mind what I inherited, but as far as buying a home, I really, I'm not interested, because there's too many places I would rather, I haven't seen yet, and I don't know if this is it. I'm looking for that place that's like, man, this is it. This is where I want to spend long term, or maybe even the rest of my life, who knows, until I'm ready to go again. And even then, I want to have enough money to pay for that thing full, turn it into something I can profit and benefit from. And if I want to leave, then I can leave and, keep doing the same thing and save money from that place, and, like, rent it out, whatever, and be able to move. And, if I want to be nomadic for the rest of my life, then I'll be nomadic. But anyways, I think I'm pretty good on setting boundaries, and people know through my actions. They just try to play dumb. So it's just like, when you set strong boundaries, and you don't, you stand on them or whatever, and you make them clear to people, they can choose to play with them, or try to cross them, or not to. But then in that case, you really can make the conclusion of two things. They're either really stupid or extremely manipulative, and there's really no in between. And that's just my theory on people who habitually just try to cross your boundaries, or try to play double dutch with your boundaries, or hopscotch, and try to see how far in they can go, only to end up in too deep, LL Cool J style, and don't fuck around and even think about it spiritually by your spirit team collective. And I notice people trying to do that. It's like, I make it very clear, both verbally and physically, like, don't come in here fucking with me. Just like I said, I'm a professional and everything, but I will get with the shit. It's like, if you're being unprofessional, you're, like anything, there's a consequence for it. There's a rebuttal for it. And I'm also very patient, even when I thought I wasn't patient, I realized I was being overly patient with people, but I was patient about the wrong things and impatient about the wrong things. And I'm like, I don't have a problem showing my true colors, like, and I think that's the mistake people, because of how I come off as a professional, it looks like that I won't be about that, and I most definitely will. But when I know that's exactly what you're trying to do, is get me in that zone, it's just like, I'm gonna make sure you're the one to end up looking stupid, which has always been the case. 10 out of 10, that's always been the case, right? So there's that. It's just like, it's like, it's either me or you, right? So if you wanna run that game, then it's either me or you. And that's pretty much how I feel like the mindset of the collective is. We'd rather keep it kosher. We'd rather keep it peaceful, high vibrational. We'd rather build with the people around us. Like, we're capable. And that's the thing they're so afraid of, is like, we're capable of building communities of many different nationalities, raising the frequency of wherever we go, and weeding out the BS wherever we go. Like, when we come in, the truth is walking right beside us. And that's our energy. Our energy is just the truth. And that was what somebody nicknamed me. Literally, she nicknamed me the truth, even though she was a whole lie, right? She nicknamed me the truth. So it's just like, even a lie has to tell the truth around the truth, and that's just point blank in a sentence, and period. Like that song True Colors, but I like a different cover. I forgot the artist cross your boundaries and, you know, may not know it. And that's not necessarily stupidity. You know, it's just like misunderstanding, because, you know, what's normal to the spider is chaos to the fly. So you also have to keep that in consideration. With some people, they're just, you know, you just got to give it up and just be like, you know, this motherfucker might just be stupid. And, you know, just like you explain it to them 60 different ways and might just come to the realization you might not be an intellectual match. You could not be an educational match, but the intellect, you know, can close that gap. But if you lack the intellect, you know, if there's an intellectual gap deep enough, you know, which comes from the divine. If you were born with a certain level of intelligence, or you work on yourself so that you can increase your intelligence, you know, if you do the work of the divine and, you know, work on yourself, then you can close that gap too, no matter how big. You know, it's just some people it takes more work than others, but it's like clearly you haven't done enough work to where this gap won't hurt me or you in this connection, this relationship, situationship, what have you. You know, like there's a clear lack of understanding and a lapse, and there will be lapses in communications too large to recover from, you know, to the point it affects somebody to the point of no return. And that's why a lot of these situations don't work. Like if you're just out there, you know, just looking for friendship, or, you know, like to build your social skills, or just to fling, or if you're like looking for a serious commitment or connection, or maybe just somebody you could talk to and help you sort out your issues, just say that, man. Like if you got issues, say you got issues, and say with that. You'd be surprised at how many people are like willing to work with that, you know, and just be like, you know, and then in time you can see the beauty of that person, because a lot of people, they spend so much time not experiencing each other, they don't take time, they spend more time in judging the person than they do in like enjoying the beauty of that person, or they spend so much time loving the idea of what them as a unit can be than just experiencing and enjoying the beauty of that person as an individual. And, you know, that's a sad, you know, that's, you know, how society is built, you know, like they fall in love with this is why I don't do first impressions, because it's just like, okay, a lot of people care about first impressions, so that's something that actually can be weaponized against them. It's just like, yo, yeah, I'm fake as fuck on the first impression, but when wait till you get to really know me, I'm gonna ruin your life, you know, have them, you know, demonic intentions towards you. And that's why you know, first impressions don't mean anything to me. Like I'm a very observant person, even though it may not seem like I'm observing. And then sometimes I'm just like, you know, even if the person might be a piece of shit, I'm like, you know what, I see the purpose in this, I see the growth in this situation, and this is worth actually sticking around for. You know, like when a person thinks they're getting the best of me, but it's like, no, really, you know, it's a lesson for both of us, and there's something I'm supposed to learn here. Maybe sometimes it's a repeated lesson, and the first lesson, maybe I didn't see, you know, I saw one aspect of it. Maybe we'll see one aspect of the lesson, or, you know, because I say I a lot because I try to really speak for myself, because I don't, you know, everybody has different lessons to learn from the same situations, and, you know, it's like fingerprints. No lesson is exactly the same, just like no person is exactly the same. You can have an identical twin. It's, you know, it's identical because to the physical eye, but, you know, at the root of it, you know, there's, you know, slight strands of DNA that make them significantly different. You know, you can have twins and one be really good and one be really evil. You know, it's just kind of like everything has its own fingerprint. And, you know, life would just really be easier, you know, like if we all just were interested in helping each other heal instead of finding out information to use against each other, or just like, oh, that's just good to know, and, you know, how this is how I can get in the door with them, da 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 da, you know, through another person. Like you found out this information through someone else, and then they come at you all weird, like, you know, mentioning like your favorites and stuff, and it, like that to me is kind of nauseating. like, you know, why couldn't you just come and ask me yourself? You know, like, why couldn't you come and have that conversation? Like, am I just that unapproachable? You know, like, and I don't mind being, you know, I don't mind correction either, you know, appropriately, of course. You know, don't come at me sideways, and it's just, I'm still human, I'm still in this human vessel, and, you know, there will be problems. But, you know, face-to-face correction, pull me aside, woman to woman, man to woman, whatever, and we'll, you know, we'll be all right. We'll sort this out, you know, because, like, people are so afraid of being, you know, the feminine energy is, like, it's weird. Kind of like a story that needs a lot of healing, the Medusa story. Like, the story behind Medusa and Pocahontas is very tragic. You know, they tried to beautify, do glamour spells over the actual story by putting it in a damn cartoon and make it a damn fairy tale. Like, oh, this prince comes and saves the day, when really they went in that land and they, you know, basically brutalized the girl. They, you know, violated her, raped her, and everything. Oh, I don't hope this video doesn't get taken down, but it is what it is. I'm just gonna put it not for kids. But, you know, they R-worded her, you know, and like Medusa was several men, and, you know, those snakes are represented, and men turning to stone, or people turning to stone looking at her, is just basically them looking at their reflection in the mirror that was her, you know, and each of those snakes represented the crime committed against her, the sin committed against her. That's my interpretation of that story. That's why they turned to stone. They were frozen in fear at their own reflection, that they knew that they, you know, they knew what they'd done from her, and the fact that she survived all this is what made her a goddess, and still, you know, remained, and then they spread rumors about, they ran around and they slandered her, you know, and like the R word can like come in more than one form. It could be spiritually, you know, because, you know, and that, like, it could be on the field, but that those snakes in her head represented all the ways she was R-worded. And, you know, I got to read more on it. You know, I'm not completely, there is some ignorance on my part for the true background. I haven't done a whole lot of research on it, but that is my theory. As I said, it's not a theory. It's a theory. It's not, you know, factual, but that's my takeaway from it, and I'm standing by that until I do more research, you know, because a sign of intelligence is that your opinion, theory, or what have you, or even truth can change by the information that you found out, right? And that's why, you know, like they say, a liar's stories change all the time. It just depends, you know, on the situation and what they know, and, you know, what the intention is behind what they say, behind what they know. Like, if the intention is always ill, you're probably dealing with a liar. Oh, so, you know, so that's why she did la la la, you know, and then it turns in, you know, turns them into the real joke. Even if they say it as a joke, they're the real joke, you know, which is unfortunate for them, you know, because you could have just like taken a higher perspective of the view of the, in a more mature perspective. Because the thing is like the younger souls, let me scratch that, because I don't know. The lower frequencies are more subject to that type of immaturity. You know, the ones who aren't willing to do the work, they don't think anything's wrong with them, so they, you know, they make a joke out of very serious and real life pain, trauma, and that's why trauma bonding is so easy for these people. Like, they, you know, their life is just one big trauma bond, and, you know, they just drag people in to create more pain, turmoil, confusion, chaos, and, you know, just a endless cycle of just trauma bonding over BS, instead of, you know, and that, you know, that's what an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind, right? So they just, you know, they are part of the reason the world is part of the problem. The world is not healing, and, you know, we gotta stop that and do better as a people. Growing up, I was always picked on because I was never a part of the gossip. You know, I was part of the gossip, but I was the one being talked about. But I'd rather be the one being talked about than the motherfuckers talking. I'll tell you that right now, because, you know, I would be over somewhere being, you know, myself, being creative, being happy. And, you know, like, I have an experience that was, I think it was middle school, where this chick, she always ran around with her little crew, because they run in packs, right? You know, like, I stay stay by myself because I don't trust people enough to run in a pack. And I'm not, I'm no punk, I'm no coward. Like I was the type, I will take on however many people I need to. Win, lose, or draw, I stand alone. I stand, and I stand on what I stand on. It's just like, you're not physically just punk me. You gotta need, it's always been, actually, it's never been a one-on-one situation with me. It's always been some chick or some dude or some losing ass motherfuckers against me. And so anyways, I remember I was just totally sitting in gym class on the bleachers, and just completely just chilling, watching people play dodgeball and basketball. And like, I knew this, chick there, she was known for knowing how to fight or whatever and being a bully or whatever. She comes my direction. I'm just like, I just continue to pay it no mind. And then, like, I felt the energy. I was just like, man, I hope not, because I'm not about to move. And then she comes, puts her hands on me, pushes me. And I'm, probably, I don't know, 110 pounds soaking wet. Same hand that touches the floor to catch myself from falling. I come back up and slap the shit out of her in front of, and then I don't know if it happened so fast that nobody saw except for her and her friends, but I could tell they were all focused on me though. Like I was the target that day. I was the lunch money, right? So, just like I said, I stand on it. Whatever I did, her friends try to instigate. It's like, hey, ooh, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? It's like, I already did it. She like, oh, and walked away. And she didn't say anything for the rest of the time. She just kind of mean mugged me or whatever for the rest of the gym class. Okay, cool, whatever. Let it ride. I continue to sit in my spot. Gym class, the bell rung, gym class, and I was like, okay, let's clear it. If nothing is done now and it doesn't need to be done, and we all need to drop it. So I make it a point. I go in the locker room. Her and all three of her friends, sitting there, like all like looking at me. I walked past them 3 times just to make sure I don't say anything, because I'm like, I wasn't saying anything to them to antagonize this. I wasn't doing anything to antagonize anybody, but minding my business and being at peace, right? And nobody said shit, nobody did shit. I just wanted to make sure that we get it out the way now, or don't fucking follow me, right? Like you said, stay off me. So it was like this, like the rest of the school year went pretty smooth for me. I just continue to sit on those bleachers, and do my thing, like I would, people would try it here and there. And, I did, there was a couple times I got bullied. I didn't do shit about it. I'm going to be real honest. I walked the fuck away, and, like, I just never dealt with those people again, but then they wanted something to do with me later on in the school year. And then like a year later after that incident, right, the chick who her and her friends tried to punk me, basically. She, came up and tried to lap dance on me. I'm like, what in the like I wasn't like interested in boys or anything, but I damn sure wasn't interested in females like that. And I didn't play around like that. I was like, so I don't, like, what do I even, like, so I kicked her in her ass. And, that was kind of like, she was like, oh, and she was very loud and aggressive female, and I do not like loud, like, I don't rock with them. Like, I can't have a loud mouth, and as a part of, as an extension of me. Like, okay, I can work with a loud mouth because, shit, I came from blue collar, and, like, that's all I know is loudmouth ass people. Like I say, the loudest one in the room is usually the weakest. But you just never know. I don't go off that. But I have found that to be true. Motorcycles confirmation, I guess, huh? Yeah, it's just like, isn't it like I come from a loudmouth family, my dad's side of the family, real country folks, but their loudmouth was like, I'm gonna hurt your feelings to your face. It ain't gonna be nothing I said behind your back, so I can give them that credit. They're also, who's next in line to die, so we can get that funeral policy, you get me? So, yeah, that's just never been somebody I'd hang out with, and throughout the school years, I found myself in an altercation at least once a year, like and it was usually in the beginning of the school year, and it was just like, and sometimes it wasn't an altercation. Sometimes it was like, okay, so much as like a a football player or captain or something asking me out and me rejecting him, and me getting teased for the rest of the year, because like, oh, and I was like, I'm not gonna lie, like I was cute in school, but I was like homely. I had this whole tomboy vibe to me, baggy everything, very covered up, wasn't interested in, I was around the guys and the fellas, but I was like playing basketball with them or something, or like football, but they also made sure that I was like protected as well, if that makes any sense at all. Like I didn't get my bones crushed or anything like that. I didn't break any ribs or arms or something crazy like that and go home and be laying down crying somewhere or something like that. So I was still definitely protected, but it's just like I got like in that last year of school for prom, just like they're all looking at me. It's like, don't ask me out in front. Like, first of all, I thought that was some bitch made stuff. It's like, dude asked me out in front of all his boys. You can't come to me like a man, It's just like, I know we're in high school, but you can't come to me like a man and ask me out that, But I already knew what it was about one way or another because I saw who he was hanging with. I'm like, oh, okay, I know what's up. So, heard about it later. She got a train ran on her by the whole football team. I'm just like, dodged a bullet. That if that ain't protection, I don't know what is. But I did end up meeting a random guy. Like it took a nice, I think it was a limo. I can't even remember because I went by myself. My intention was not even to go because I only went because I wanted to make my grandmother happy because she was the only one making sure I got to and from school. She was the only one that showed up to graduation too. She was the only one going to bat for me when I was working, going to school and everything like that. And even after in college too, like she was there for me. I was working, going to college, and I had my baby finished and graduated with an associate's in computer science. And that was my bestie, and it would really suck to find out if she was a part of any of the shit that went wrong in my life, but it is what it is. I still hold fond memories of her because she did put in the effort. No matter how it went down, there will always be love from me to that lady, to that woman. Like she was like, she was very business minded, and I feel, I always felt love with her. I didn't feel love from anybody else. I felt love from her. So there's that. She was my mom basically growing up, because it's like, how do I put this nicely? Fuck that. The lady who called herself my mom, the dude who called himself my father, they were not parents at all. My father was a drug addict. Walking the garage, catching with a lighter to a spoon and a needle. Drug addict, crack rocks, rocking around real sheepish to anybody, can easily led and manipulated, when he was on drugs. And I don't even know if he was on drugs before I was born. I just know that he was. I've walked in a few times and caught him, like mouth working overtime and like some saying really heinous shit. My grandmother stayed sick because of this dude, because he would be knocking on her window. And I'm just going into it because it's like, hey, clear the fucking air, right? Walked into the room, borrow money from you or give you money and then ask to borrow it later type of drug addict. Steal your he wouldn't steal, he would just buck the hell out of you. My uncle was a thief. He was shot down in front of his home, ran out to protect his family and everything like that. Can't say honorable, but he did that before he died. He was a thief though, and I guess he just got what he got. My mom just she wasn't a good mom. I don't have good memories with her at all. I didn't remember any hugs from her. I just remember her being on the phone talking shit about me while I was sitting on the floor, and always had some dude in her life. It was gross. And it was always about she always had to have a man, around. Like every time I look up, some dude's handing her money, this, that, and the third, and she definitely wasn't shy about bringing him around us. And I had my qualms when I grew up, but it was just like I knew what it was. I wasn't looking for a dude to support me and my kid. I was just like looking to relieve some stress. And, like it was what it was. Like I wasn't really trying to introduce them to my kid, but I was in a situation where I didn't, I felt I didn't have a choice, and I was really trying to hold on to my child and keep our bond together, but it's just like I had to let that go, because I was just in a really bad financial situation, and it wasn't because of that. It was just because I was holding down the job. I was like basically super mom. I was getting my son what he needed, school clothes, he was fed, taken care of, had his curfew going, homework on point, AP student, private school, all that. I was taking care of, what I needed to take care of. But the thing was, is I was doing it around the wrong people, and I kept running into the same trash ass energy that just didn't want to see me with my child, for one, or see me successful, which is exactly really what I was. So it's like my karmic cycle, I guess, my cycle, I needed to pay off this lifetime, unbeknownst to me before I knew what any of this shit was learning how to not be so open, not thinking that Christ love, Christ consciousness was, not rejecting people, not rejecting, I'm trying to think of how to word this, showing love to everybody in spite of, like, you could love someone, loving people at a distance, basically, because I was like, I always came into whatever connection it was, I always came in genuine. I never came in deceptive. I let them know off the bat what it was, and that cut off the complication and confusion for me, but they act like they were confused, because like that's where I came from, to the conclusion that you're either really stupid or really manipulative if you keep crossing someone's damn boundaries. So I didn't understand why my boundaries kept being crossed, and they kept being crossed because that was a lesson for me. And they weren't crossed for long, because it's like one red flag, I was out, which led to, I guess, the different partners and stuff, and it's just like, and I never like intended for that to happen, but also it's just kind of like, sorry, excuse me, a lesson I had to learn for myself. It's just like, get by yourself and find out, because I've always been an accountable person as far as where I mess up. It's just like, if they take accountability or not, that's on them. And I take full accountability, and I apologize for anybody I wronged in my spiritual journey, in my lower frequency days, and the days I was just learning lessons, because that shit can be frustrating, and you can tend to take your aggressions out on some of the wrong people. But typically I find with the collective, everybody is the right person. like everybody that ends up with that, set off a trigger, and a lot of the times it was intentionally. So that's the lesson of the spiritual journey. That's why these people are placed in your life. They are simulations of the lessons that you need to learn. So that's why these energies, they body hop. You're like, oh, you need to learn this lesson again because you gave it energy. You gave it this type of energy, and this is a type of energy that fuels that energy. So when you stop giving it this type of energy, and some of, that energy is love. Love is like such a powerful and potent energy. You can give it love, but you can't give it attention, or certain types of attention, and certain types of your frequency. And that's the lesson I had to learn. So, send them away with love them from a distance. That song from Martin, that goofy ass song. Yeah, I know it was interpreted and meant for a different way. I meant in a different way, but there was a TV show I used to watch when I was younger. Martin. I didn't really watch a lot of TV show, but I happened to like that one. It was funny to me. And he came in as like a country singer, and I forgot, it was a radio show or something. If I can't love you to your face, I'll love you from behind. If I can't love you to your face, I'll love you from behind. And that's love you as you're walking away. Like, you look better to me when you're walking away, and I'm pretty sure in the beginning, that's what the karmics would say about the collective. We look better walking away. We love you better from behind. Take that how you want to. And I'm sorry, because that's that's where their frequency is. That's where they, that's where they vibrate out of the lower chakras. That's the only thing they can attach to, and that's why they're always acting like their nuts, their nuts swing lower than ours. And I'm like, ours are sweeping the floor. That's how we picked up you fucking dust bunnies, right? So, and the lessons we gotta learn is that, you attach to us, so we gotta, tighten up a little bit. So yeah, drug addict father, neglectful, careless, loveless mother, didn't give a fuck. We were literally her meal tickets. Like, there was no love show. I know it wasn't to me. I think, like, she was always constantly trying to pit us against each other. My sister, she was always throwing her in my face. First of all, I don't give a fuck about that girl, because she was part of the reason that I was always in trouble. I was always getting, like, fucked up for no reason, getting hit on. Like, my mom even threatened to hit me with a glass bottle, and that was the last time she threatened to hit me, because I grabbed that bottle and I was like, bitch, if you fucking hit me with this, my words, and I know you're not supposed to disrespect your parents, but fuck that. So you gotta give it to get it, right? And if you give an ass whooping, like, at that point in life, you still, you're getting one. If you're still giving them to your kids. I mean, I don't believe. I used to believe in whoopings and stuff, because that's how I grew up. But I stopped with my son. I was like, this is not, like, at 13. I was like, no more. Like, I would never whip my son out of anger. And I have apologized to him, because I was like, that's just what I thought was right, what I was programmed to do. And I just realized my son's a human too, and he's not a dumb kid. And even if he was, it just takes love and patience for them to realize why I was wrong. One thing he did was just like, oh man, I don't think there's any way other than to show him why this is wrong. And he physically put his hands on someone. I'm just like, okay. But that was probably the last time he did get bad grades at one point, and he was just acting a fool in school, skipping class and everything like that. And it's just like, oh shit, I don't see he needs to learn. And I broke that cycle. It's just like, I stopped putting any belts on him or anything like that at 13. Because like, you just gotta talk to him, because a lot of the times these children are acting out. It's a cry for attention. It's not even something that they're and sometimes they're just mad because you aren't giving them the love, or you're not understanding the type of love that they need. You're not understanding that, hey, like, I just want a hug, I just want some attention. You work too much. And I made that mistake, because I did work too much. But there was also bills to pay. Like, I was left home alone a lot, or left to take care of my little brother and little sister. And no real instructions, just like, I had to learn how to cook by myself pretty much. And also told in the same breath to stay out of the kitchen. So I'm like, how does this work, right? So I just peeked through the kitchen whatever opening, curtain, and figure out how they were cooking things, and practice that, and cook for them, because my mom wasn't a great cook, and that's just what it is. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, she was top shelf. No, cooking was trash. Like, out of a box half the time. And let me turn around. I don't even know where I'm at right now, I'm just cruising. And I figured out a lot by myself, which I didn't like asking. To this day, I don't like asking for shit. I don't like asking anyone for anything. That is something I don't know. I'm learning though. It's like I'm starting to calm down from that trigger of being in a situation where I have to ask for it. Like yesterday, I was trying to catch an Uber because I was getting the brakes repaired on my truck, replaced on my truck, because I was like, I don't have the caliber. I don't have it. I didn't have like everything I needed, and I didn't want to bother anyone for it, right? And I could have really done those brakes myself and saved myself quite a bit of money. But I Ubered home, and then like I try to like get an Uber back. The money was there, but Uber had like put a hold on my card or some stupid shit, and I couldn't get the ride there. So I'm just like, okay, how do I, so me being crafty and being resourceful and being willing to sit there and just figure it out, because that's all I've had the choice to do is figure it out, man. Like thrown in a pool of sharks. And it was just like, I've done all I can. And, like I asked someone for help, and he was like happy to help. He just gave me a ride to the Firestone, and, lo and behold, he didn't, no complaint, like no questions, like nothing. Just told him where it was, and he was happy to help. And I'm used to people like, what do you need for, and I know like that's not the energy I will give people. So I kind of like, that was a trigger, because that was the energy I kept running into. So I just gave up on that. I didn't like to ask for help, because I'm like, I don't do that to people. Like, hey, like you ask me for help, it's no strings attached. I'll help you. I don't have a problem with it. I don't ever give more than I can afford to. I don't ever break myself to give to someone. And, I wouldn't put myself in that situation, so that makes it easy for me to give. Now, if you fit, like some people are natural givers and they have been taken advantage of, and I grew to understand that. But it's like, if you're triggered by it, just simply don't do it. Just simply say no. I'm not afraid of rejection, clearly, because that's, I grew up rejected. So it's kind of like, like to the point that it's kind of like, realistically, they might as well have aborted me, as to how they treated me as a child. Kind of like a meal ticket. And that's basically what I was, collecting. For every time I looked up, I saw a fucking food stamp and some dude giving cash to my mom, and my dad on drugs, and my mom hearing about some fucking abortion or some shit like that. And it's, I grew up wild, man. It is like, and I was a good kid. I don't place any, like, I don't hold any guilt, because I'm like, I was a child. And my mom taught me some real karmic things in regards to a man. Like, if your car breaks down, get out and show some leg or some shit. Like what the fuck? Even as a child, I was like, what the fuck? Like, what in the fuck are you saying, ma'am? It was like mind blowing. I was just like, I actually know how to change a tire at fucking 8. I know how to change this tire, and you're talking about getting out and showing your motherfucking legs. Joking or not, that's just not something I would ever, if I had a daughter and I had to teach her something, it wouldn't be that. My dad never taught me jack shit, except for, if you're in front of an 18-wheeler, rip the e-brake and, let them hit you and collect the insurance money. I was like, that would be more for you to collect the insurance money, wouldn't it? Because I'd probably be dead, especially if it was on the freeway. It's not something I would do. Like, that doesn't make sense. Like, you rip the e-brake, motherfucker, because you don't deserve to be here for telling me that shit. And I truly feel like that dude faked his death, and he's part of what's because he was ex-army. And he knew how to manipulate. He was really good with manipulation of the law and the systems, and so was his side of the family. My mom's side of the family, I didn't know much about them. They just, money was king to them. Now, money was king to my whole family, both sides, and they were more sedity about it. They were more, I'm gonna turn my nose up at you, and all that crazy shit, and I remember my grandmother, she entered, I don't know how I met this girl, but our last day hanging together, I went to go say bye, and she thought I was fucking like eavesdropping on her conversation. I was just coming to say bye for the last time, because I was leaving and moving away or whatever, going home for the weekend. And that girl chased me on full, and she didn't chase, she chased me on full demon. I was like, let me get the fuck away from this demon, right? Hopped in the car, she was like, she was mean. Like, she didn't know what was up. I'm like, yeah, I figured she might have had something to do with it. I'm not going to jump to any conclusions, but I kind of think she did. So just, I was always, like, kind of black sheep in the family, and then it was one time I had my son sitting on my lap, and he just started singing. Because I used to sing him when he was in my stomach. I used to eat healthy foods. That's probably why he loves healthy foods to this day. Like, he has never had a problem eating broccoli, greens, or anything healthy. There was only one food he really had a problem with eating, and but he started singing, and like, all I felt in the entire room was my mom, my great grandmother, which was his this great-great-grandmother. We had 4 generations in that room. And it was wild to feel the jealousy from all the women in that room. All of them. Except for my great-great-grandmother. In fact, she would have slapped the shit out of me, honestly, if she had known that I was homeless for a minute. Like, she would have beat my ass, for real. And, like, why didn't you say something? But, yeah, like, she was always, she had Alzheimer's. She died of Alzheimer's. But she, you know, she was still, it seemed like she was in her right mind, so I don't really know. And my mom and my grandmother, on my mom's side, my mom and her mom, you know, they both kind of have the same karmic history of men. You know, just, you know, all about money, all about having a man. If you ain't have a man, you wasn't shit, basically. Like, you were a failure in life. I'm just like, wouldn't that be the exact opposite? But I'm just, you know, who am I? You know, got my ass whooped for saying something like that once upon a time. So basically, my whole story is once upon a time, an Earth Angel was born, and they had been so abused to the point that they did not, you know, they had to be, they ran away basically from the people who were abusing them, and was completely lost on their own path, and had to dig themselves out of karmic energy, slowly but surely, after, you know, learning a lot of karmic lessons, and didn't mind doing so, and, you know, truly lived her life, and is truly still living her life to this day, somewhere out in the middle of nowhere land, and still to this day being pursued by karmics, the same karmics who drew all the attention to her that she never wanted in the first place, completely healed from said trauma, right? Experience and proven trauma from trauma bonders, karmics, and, you know, happily ever after. The story continues, right? The saga continues, basically. And, you know, and is here today giving you this message. The end. You know, it came over a lot of trials, and I have so many stories. It's unbelievable. So I guess this is kind of story time. I'm like showing, you know, letting people know where I come from. You know, like my whole life, people tried to shit on me and bully me, but you can't shit on somebody who doesn't give a fuck about fitting in with you to begin with. So, collective message for you today is they wanted us to feel like we didn't belong, and the reality was, you know, they were telling us the truth. They were, you know, but they didn't know that was the truth. We didn't belong because our place is on the throne. And with that, I'll leave you with yet another. Take care of yourselves. Drink plenty of water and know how to mind your damn business. Take care of yourself. Fruits and vegetables, organic only, because we are organic people. And, you know, somebody don't belong here. Them karmics, you know, lower life forces, you know, we're raising the frequency of the earth, and they cannot survive here anymore. They're that little negative, nagging energy that's just running out of space to exist. And they are really going hard right now. Stay strong, head up, guards up, keep those hands up, and no, don't get hit with a hook, whatever, you know, bob and weave, whatever you need to do, block, kick, you know, mental jujitsu. That's what this is. Love you guys. Definitely take care of yourselves. Make sure you drink that water.